Hey guys, welcome to Punky's World. The last video is in editing. I promise I won't cry during this one. This is what I've done for the Historical Society, my homework, my research and all of that. Okay, I was asked to look up a few things and to get information about companies that we have antique products from. So, set that there. I did that, and I wanted to share some of it with you. There is at the Metropolitan Museum a catalog of a shoe brand that we still have new old stock of in our museum at the Met. It's a 1904 catalog. It's called the Patrician Shoe Company. And it's a catalog from the E. Holbrook in Danbury, Connecticut. Patrician shoes still exist. They're made by Hype Beast. It's just a little bit of history for you. I looked up New England biscuits because we had several tins of the mix or whatever. Mass Bay Trading Company still makes it. Do not fall. There we go. I looked up tincture of rhubarb. It was one of the old-timey medicines that we have. Excuse the hand. Whoa! No, 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 no. One of the old-timey medicines that we have sitting on our shelf that, well, nobody would want to take today, but there we go. That nobody would, excuse the hand, sorry about that, that nobody would want to take today. It contained, let's see, 2.5 ounces cardamom seed, 1/2 ounce of brandy, digest for a week. Oh, no, okay. 2.5 ounces, lesser cardamom seeds, 1/2 ounce. Oh, rhubarb, 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces, cardamom seeds, 1/2 ounce, brandy, 2 pints, digest for a week and strain the tincture. You could also put it in a bottle of Lisbon wine if you really wanted to have a wow. And one of the other things in it is something called gentian root. Which they are for the tummy, for indigestion, and a laxative, or a laxative. Yikes. Yeah, just drinking that combination will make you puke. The Campfire Marshmallow Company still exists. Let's see. Just dairy business. There was a reason. Oh, because I was wondering why it was Hood. That's why. Then there's Necco, of course. Okay, let's see. And then there's Carter's Ink Company, which she asked me to look up. There's a lot on that. Okay, Moxie. We have old metal signs and different things for Moxie Cola, or Moxie Soda. Moxie is a brand of carbonated beverage that is among the first mass-produced soft drinks in the United States. It was created around 1876 by Augustine Thompson as a patent medicine called Moxie Nerve Food, and was produced in Lowell, Massachusetts. The sweet soda is similar to root beer with a bitter aftertaste. It is flavored with gentian root. Remember, we just talked about gentian root in the tincture of rhubarb extract, an extremely bitter substance commonly used in herbal medicine. Moxie was designated the official soft drink of Maine on May 10, 2005. It continues to be regionally popular today, particularly in New England states. It was previously produced by the Moxie Beverage Company of Bedford, New Hampshire, until Moxie was purchased by the Coca-Cola Company in 2018. The name has become the word moxie in American English, a noun meaning energy, determination, and spunk. He claimed that he named the beverage after a Lieutenant Moxie. Now, I don't know if this was ever proven out or whatever, but it contained an extract from a rare unnamed South American plant, which is now known to be gentian root. Moxie, he claimed, is especially effective against paralysis, softening of the brain, nervousness, and insomnia. Oh, brother! Dude! It's soda! He added soda water to the formula and changed the product's name to Beverage Moxie Nerve Food. By 1884, he was selling Moxie both in bottles and in bulk as a soda fountain syrup. In 1885, he received a trademark for the term. He marketed it as a delicious blend of bitter and sweet, a drink to satisfy everyone's taste. Thompson died in 1903. In 1907, the Moxie Nerve Food Company of New England filed a lawsuit in Boston against the Maddox Company and others, alleging that they had copied the ingredients of Moxie and were using the name Maddox, which closely resembles Moxie, and were infringing upon patents and trademarks. The suit was dismissed by the judge, who said the court could not protect the legitimate part of the plaintiff's business in this case. In a latter case in New York, the Moxie Nerve Food Company won a lawsuit against Maddox, which subsequently went out of business. Imagine if you could find an old container of Maddox. The value of that. In 1921, there was a song promoting the soda sung by Arthur Fields. President Calvin Coolidge was known to favor the drink, and Boston Red Sox slugger Ted Williams endorsed it on radio and in print. The company also marketed a beverage called Ted's Root Beer in the early 60s. Author E.B. White once claimed that Moxie contains gentian root, which is the path to the good life. The brand suffered a significant decline in sales during the 30s. Yeah, I think everybody did. The Catawissa bottling company in Catawissa, Pennsylvania, is one of 6 bottlers in the United States that produce Moxie. Catawissa has produced it since 1945. Polar Beverages also bottles Moxie in Worcester, Massachusetts, as does Orca Beverages in Mukilteo, Washington. That's interesting. So Polar bottles Moxie. Huh. Polar is a local beverage company. Let me sort of explain something. A soft, excuse me, a soft drink. Originally, before Prohibition, a soft drink was a very low alcohol drink. Usually, way back, because even children had to drink alcohol because they'd die from the water, it was what was given to children because it was much lower in alcohol. And they call it a soft drink. Well, that term, after Prohibition, or during Prohibition, became used for carbonated, non-alcohol containing beverages. A soft drink, a drink without alcohol, which would be a hard drink. So that's the history of that. Like I said, that's the history of the soft drink, which later became called soda. Make sure this is still in order. See, I have a little folder that I put it in, and I'll use this folder exclusively for Historical Society assignments, just to keep myself organized. So yeah. But I found that history fascinating, you know, like the soft drink. And in fact, the Polar Beverage Company, which again, local to me, actually was originally an alcohol company, but during Prohibition, obviously they couldn't make alcohol. So they switched from being a brewery to making soda. And they are huge in this area, in this part of New England. And you might be able to get them all over New England. They're not nationwide, though. Let me take a peek, but I don't think so. Soda. Okay. Polar Beverages. Okay. I just want to know where they are distributed to. It markets beverages under its flagship brand and under the brands Adirondack, Cape Cod, and Polar Seltzer. Cape Cod Dry and Polar Seltzer. In addition to its own drinks, Polar bottles and distributes national brands for companies such as Keurig. Oh, Keurig Dr. Pepper. Oh, Keurig and Dr. Pepper are one company. Okay. The company has 2 bottling plants and 6 distribution facilities. It also offers corporate water services and beverage vending equipment. It's a 4th-generation family-owned business. Its mascot's a polar bear. In 1994, Polar made a TV commercial where a polar bear considers drinking a Coca-Cola, but throws it into a recycling bin marked "Keep the Arctic Pure." The polar bear then reaches down into the freezing Arctic water and pulls out a can of Polar Seltzer and drinks from it contentedly. Coca-Cola filed a motion for an injunction against Polar in the United States District Court in Boston, contending that the commercial made Coke's products appear impure. The court granted Coca-Cola's motion because the commercial implied that Coca-Cola was not pure and misrepresented the nature and quality of Coke, thereby potentially harming the soft drink. Ah, that's funny. Huh. Huh. Okay, so Polar's working on growing into a national product by their partnership with Keurig Dr. Pepper. The Crowley family, who's owned it for 4 generations, still owns Polar, runs Polar, but they have a partnership with Keurig Dr. Pepper to allow them to go national, to use their distribution and their, I guess their pull? I don't know how else to put it. To move them national, which is awesome. A little story about Polar's polar bear. They have a giant mascot. And every year, as a joke, for a long, long time, I don't know if it's still happening. I don't think so. I think they've secured the bear a little better now. The kids at the local college used to come and steal the bear. Every stinking year. They would steal that stupid bear, and it would come back, you know, it would always come back. It was more like borrowed. You know, and there'd be articles in the newspaper. Come on, guys, bring our bear back. You know, didn't take it terribly seriously because it always came back, and it always came back healthy and whatnot. Oh. Sorry, guys, hold on. Oops. Going to Diane's tomorrow. Can't wait to see a picture of the tree topper. I gave my friend a tree topper. I'm glad that was empty. Anyway, so they never worried about the polar bear. They never like reported it to police or anything like that because they knew where it was. And it always came home. But you can see the bear standing up over like the city skyline when you're coming over the highway overpass. You can see it. It's huge. So yeah, I had to look up tincture of rhubarb. Blah, blah. We have other little like medicinals. You can't really call them medicines, but medicinals. what was I going to say? That, you know, that we still have partial bottles of. We have a bottle of Jimmy's. I don't know what brand they were because that part of the label is gone, but I picked it up and flipped it over. It's one solid Jimmy stuck to the bottom. Oh, if you don't know what a Jimmy is, I forget. Here in New England, we call them Jimmies. Most places call them sprinkles. They're the little candies that go on top of ice cream. But here in New England, we call them Jimmies. So, I guess some places call the chocolate ones Jimmies and the other ones sprinkles. But we call them all Jimmies. Jimmies. I have to remember some things are regional, you know, like bubbler. We call the water fountain bubbler. I think that comes from the fact that water sort of bubbles up when you press the button. When you press the button on the side, the water kind of bubbles up, so we call it the bubbler. I think that's where that came from here in New England. Correct me if I'm wrong. Trying to think of other things that we say that I know in the Midwest they don't call it soda, they call it pop. A submarine sandwich is a different thing in different places. It can be a sub. It can be a hoagie. It can be a sub, a hoagie, I guess a submarine. What we call it is a grinder. In Maine, it's an Italian. So, depending on the part of the country you're in, I think in Pennsylvania they call it a hoagie. I'm not sure. So, I love doing this, you know, researching this history, teaching this history to you guys, and just having so much fun. The rest of this is my list of books that we have. Ball band footwear. I mean, it's all so interesting. I don't know what lesser cardamom seed is. I noticed that that's how it was written. Yeah, I totally missed the rhubarb the first time because of the way it's written. It's written weird because it's written kind of old-fashioned. And you notice they're using ounces. They're not using, like, a quarter of a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, a tablespoon. They're using ounces. They're also not using milliliters. We're the only country that uses old standard English measure. Most countries use the metric system. My father told me a story once. They had decided they wanted to switch us to metric when it came to our gasoline. So you had to get liters of gas instead of gallons of gas. Nobody knew the conversion, and it was a disaster. And they very quickly went back to gallons. I learned both in school. Excuse me. So I have a familiarity with the metric system. Not a pro at it at all, but I have a familiarity with it because we had to learn both. Now, for every day, we always use the English Standard Measure. Like I said, that being said, we learned metric, you know, in terms of, we didn't learn as much in fluid as we did in measuring distances and lengths and widths and heights and all that. We learned, because we learned that 2.5 centimeters is an inch, and 100 millimeters, yeah, 100 millimeters, and a decimeter is 10 centimeters, which would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, approximately 5.5 inches or so. No, let's figure this out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2.5 is an inch. So 4.5 centimeters, maybe 4.5 inches, maybe, for a decimeter. But so we learned that. We did learn a little bit about liquids, but not a lot. Not as much as we learned about actual measuring. So that has edited. Tree. She was so. Oops, you dummy, what happened? A-L-E-N-T-E-D. Okay, good. Put that over in video and then get it up. See that, guys? I'm uploading the first video, which I cried through. Go to videos, and I am going to, as a picture for this, I'm going to use a picture of Mom. Wait, I know which picture I want to use. Whoa, I'm way too close to you there. I wanted to mention I started a new Facebook group for the girl in the box. I gotta fix that. That one. Save image as 11th grade. I should have done grade 11, but that's okay. There we go. Logs. Done. 55 minutes. Holy Moses. That's okay. It's 1 o'clock, so it doesn't matter. at any rate, guys, this one's getting a little long, but I did want to share that with you. This will go under the Historical Society playlist because it's about what I'm doing for them. So, I'm actually, like I said, really enjoying this. I got to list all the things in the store that the company might still be running, and there's a lot of them. And I also discovered that a lot of companies have been taken over by bigger companies, you know. So many of these little companies are now all Kraft, or all, I don't know, General Foods, for examples, Procter & Gamble. All these little companies were swallowed up by these big conglomerates. So, like Sanka, for example. Maxwell House bought out Sanka, and then Kraft bought out Maxwell House Sanka. So, that's just one example of what I found. But I hope you enjoyed this sort of walk down memory lane. Gotta decide on an image for this one. I think I'm gonna call it Historical Brands. Well, no, I'm gonna call it Historical Society Homework. But I need some sort of picture of a historical packaging of some sort to put up with it. And I think tomorrow when I wear this, I am going to wear a tank top underneath it because this is scratchy. So I think I'm gonna wear a tank top underneath it tomorrow. But this is my treat. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Merry Christmas. And please subscribe. That would be a wonderful Christmas present for me. Bye-bye.